Hi, my name is Ray Pastor, and today I'm going to explain ADDIE in simple terms. I'm just going to talk about the basics for someone who's new to instructional design. So ADDIE is an instructional design model. It's actually our process. There are 5 stages to it: analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. The first stage is analysis. Before we begin any project, you always have to do an analysis. This means that we analyze who are our learners, what is the context, like what is the content about, um, an environment analysis, like what are we dealing with? You know, who are the learners? What kind of environment are they in? Are we training people out on the field? Are we training teachers who are in a classroom? And then we do a technology analysis, like what do these people have? You know, do we have access to laptops, tablets, computers? What kind of system do they have? Do they have internet? Do they have high-speed internet? All those kinds of questions. And then we do a needs assessment and gap analysis. So that's really where we figure out what is the current state of the situation and what do they want to get to. We come up with some potential solutions. We look at the impacts of those solutions, and we come up with our final solution. And then we develop goals for the project because we need goals, or else we don't know if we actually achieved them when the project's over. Next is the design phase. During the design phase, we choose a design model. That can be, actually, every company I've worked for does design a little differently. Some of the more common things we're getting into are agile or rapid design. But you choose how you want to actually design the project. We do a task analysis where we take all the content and figure out what exactly is going to be trained. We develop objectives. We come up with our instructional strategy. That's where we use our learning theories, like are we going to use problem-based learning? How are we designing this? You know, what are we doing? We do some paper prototypes. Usually I like to start with paper prototyping. That's really where I just draw out some sample storyboards for the client to let them see some potential ways that this could look like. Once I have that approved, then I usually do some storyboards on the computer to make it look a little nicer and get that approved, where we move over to development. We develop all of our storyboards for our project. Then we develop however we're developing, whether it's a game, simulation, mobile app, just computer-based instruction, an instructor-led course, however we're doing it. You know, we might need programmers, we might need graphic designers. This might involve a whole team. We might have to test the system, stress test the system. Once we're past development, we then implement the project. There's some kind of communication. There's a pre-training if needed, but we figure out how are we rolling this project out. If we're rolling this out to 50,000 people, do we need to talk to all of them? Do we need to send them emails? Do we need to let them know, hey, this training is coming, here's why it's important? We might have to go through some kind of change process. It just depends on the project. Everyone's going to be different. And finally, once the project's been implemented, we are going to evaluate. So formative evaluation is done continuously throughout the project. That's where, like, you know, we go through the content and the client checks it to make sure the content's correct, or the SME or whoever's checking it. So we do that formative evaluation continuously. But the summative evaluation is really the final end thing that we do. And that might take place weeks, it might take place 6 months, a year, it depends when you do it. But if you don't do the summative evaluation, you don't know if your project was successful. Because the summative evaluation, we look at, did our learners actually achieve what we wanted them to? And what was the return on investment of this project? Now, this is all stuff explained very simply. I just tried to explain this in a few minutes. There's a lot more to each of these phases, and